friends, let's go on to the next mindset strategy. So I've said trust the system, trust yourself, visualize the fulfillment of your big picture, know yourself. Know yourself. Here's another wonderful book, The Strengths Finder 2.0. We've taught this a lot, and it has to do with understanding your strengths and weaknesses and working within your areas of strengths. Now, as a business owner, we have the advantage that we can hire people in our business, especially in those areas of our weaknesses. So you guys probably have a pretty good feel of who I am. You see me as a big thinker and putting all the steps together, but I'm not the kind of person that will maintain those steps once I put it together. I need help with that. And so I've hired that out in my business, somebody that will cross all the T's and dot the I's and make sure that everything gets done as they're supposed to be. Because I know myself. I know that if I don't have that support in my life, in my business, that I'm going to be suffering. That part of my business is going to suffer. So know yourself. Number 5, take time to plan. This is critical. When you're in the midst of that forest and you can't see the trees or you can't see the forest because of being, all the trees being surrounded, you've got to take time for high-level thinking at the beginning of every single week. This is not just a quarterly planning. This is a weekly planning. In fact, some people do this every day. And I know you schedule your weekends. You have
Yes.
Yes. Would you talk a little bit about that?
I won't turn because people will be able to read it, but I have a lot of tasks on my first Saturday, and Saturday is one of my favorite work days. So one that I do, speaking of that high level, is I am both the CEO of the company and I'm also the marketing officer. I run the marketing department. So I have a board dedicated to managing all the marketing projects that I do. And every Saturday I go through it. Because if it's all just up in my head, it doesn't work. Not for me anyways. I can't do that. My team knows that. I've got to put it into something visual. So I have a board. I use a tool called Monday Board for our company for project management. And I go in there and it's really cool because I can slide things along. I think Trello is the same, isn't it, Brian, where you can just move things around?
Yes,
Trello?
yes, with Trello.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I love that because what was a priority, what I thought was a priority, might have shifted, yes, within a week's time. And so by doing it on Saturday, and then I do a Loom video of it, and I post it for my executive team, they get to know where my head is at, right? And so because that leads the whole company pretty much. And so I do that every Saturday. I have to think about it. And then it gets put into a board and my team knows, my executive team. So personally, I can't run a business keeping it all up in here. I can't even properly process without seeing a visual. It's almost impossible for me. I'm super visual. So, but what that allows me to do is make me feel in more control because I'm scheduling things out. So you guys, I just want to mention, we have so many tools to help you. With these kind of things. I'm going to cheat a little bit and move back to, I think it was number 4 or 5, which was about visualizing your future or what you're trying to do.
Visualize the fulfillment of your big picture. Yes.
Yeah, we have this tool. And I've seen Roberto and Selena with this on their wall. This is the one that we mail out to all our new people. There's the 100K Club. You heard Teresa. And then you have the option to put things in here. So, Roberto and Selena, what did they do? You know what they did? They went and they created their second chart that says 300K Club, right? That's what they went and did. And now, as a result of their utilizing, this is just a tool, right, folks? And then they're going to Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, I think it is. So anyways, use the tools. And so taking the time to plan is also your EOD tracker, the end of day tracker. How many of you are using your end of day tracker? So we give you the tools to execute on these.
Okay, let's go to the number 6, number 6, ask for feedback. and I think this is this your saying that you like so much, feedback is the breakfast of champions? Is that Coach Kurtz? I'm never sure about
It's
that.
Coach Kurtz, but I'm a huge believer in it. Within my own team, I may be persuaded in my own mind's eye that this is what we're going to do. No, let's get the feedback. I got to talk to my executive team. And, I may go into a meeting thinking, yep, this is the way to go. But it would be very foolish of me to move forward without the precious feedback from my teammates, which is what I call the brain trust. That's my brain trust, right? Will you have our brain trust? That be the trainers that you get through your one-on-one, your small group coaching, your peak performance mentoring. To not tap into an incredible brain trust would be, Brian, I just don't even know how people could succeed because this is a fast moving pace and you've got to get feedback. So again, we have so many mechanisms in place for people to get feedback. And I think the biggest folly there, Brian, is when I've heard it when I do peak grad calls and they're saying, why? I saw this and I decided to do that. And they go down this rabbit trail and I'm like, why didn't you talk to one of our experts first? Just to get that bird's eye view, right, Brian? You take advantage of that. That's what pros do. That's what business owners do, is tap into the brain trust of other people who have gone before them.
When I first started selling on Amazon in 2008, there were no communities that I was aware of, like ours, where I could talk to other sellers. I didn't have any mentors, didn't have any teachers. I had to figure it out all myself, and I certainly made mistakes. I thought I was in a different place in the forest than I actually was. And having feedback, telling people, just being able to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Am I on the right track? Oh, man, it was so much easier when I developed a community or landed in a community of e-commerce sellers. Okay, final one here. Be honest with yourself. So I've asked you to trust yourself, to know yourself. Well, this is be honest with yourself, and integrity is an entrepreneurial trait. Integrity is that being true to yourself. And so here's that quote about discipline. I love this quote so much. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. When you start on a journey, you know it's going to take time. You know that it's going to take dedication. You know that it's going to take discipline to get from here to there. And be honest with yourself. Are you going to put in the time? You know that it's going to take time. So why say I'll do it later? Why put it off? You need discipline here. And integrity is an element, or I should say discipline is an element of integrity. So know yourself. Say, I can do this. I will do this. If you're the type of person that puts things off, then put in systems in place to help you with that. Like the planning, for instance, and showing up for our classes, showing up for the coaching calls, using the end of day tracker. All these tools, again, will help you remain in integrity so that you can say, well, what's the definition about integrity? Is doing what you said you would do.
It used to be said, if you're not online, you're not in business. That's from like 15 years ago. All right. Now it's that if you're not on Amazon, you're not in business.
Regardless of that big dream, you've got to build a foundation. You have to have a business that has cash flow.
You need more cash? Go out and source some more. Shove those products into Amazon. What's going to spit out the other end is profit. It's that simple, isn't it?
Then they start looking at it as, this really is a system. So how can I add more to my system? How can I start to scale this?
That's why this is so integral, each pillar leading up sequentially to that long-term reliable business.
These are the real assets then that somebody who wants to buy a business, this is what they look for.
This is the brand launcher, the career launcher, the income launcher. It's a beautiful thing. And I know you're going to love what this can do for you. You're going to get a vision. You're going to get a vision to grow your business, to sell it for a profit.
kind of show your pals, your friends, your family?
Yes, you can make $1 million just selling on Amazon alone.